It is early morning on the farm, and I am 86 years old, out feeding the horses before the sun is up.
At 86, I still feed the horses. My hands are steady, my eyes are clear. Forget pills and powders. Plain habits carried me this far.
And I have not seen a hospital bed in 20 years. You could spend a fortune on pills and powders promising a long life, and plenty of folks do. But tonight, I will show you the 10 plain habits that carried me this far. The same ones our people leaned on for 200 years. I want to be straight with you before you watch.
This is not medicine. I am not a doctor. These are just plain daily choices. They kept me strong and out in the fields. Simple secrets passed hand to hand.
My family has farmed this same Lancaster County ground since 1838, and every one of these 10 secrets was passed to me hand to hand, long before anyone wrote a book on living longer. There is an order to them, and it matters. So tonight, I will walk you through all 10, one at a time, plain and simple, the way I learned them myself.
10 secrets. That is what I told you, and that is what you are getting. No filler, no fancy words. Just what carried me this far, plain as I can say it.
Let me show you.
Secret number 1, and it is the one nobody wants to hear. Move your body every day with your own 2 hands, not a machine doing it for you. I do not go to a gym. I never have. My gym is the barn, the field, the woodpile, and the walk between them. There is a whole world out there selling you machines to lift things for you, carts to carry you around, buttons to press so your hands never have to work.
Every one of those machines takes something from you, even while it claims to give you ease. Your muscles need a job. Your joints need to bend under real weight, not just stretch on a mat for 20 minutes once a week. I split wood in the cold. I carry water in the heat. I pull fence posts out of ground that fights me back. My body never got the message that it could quit, so it never did. Doctors call this functional movement now, like it is something new they discovered. It is not new. It is just work, the kind folks used to do before comfort became the whole goal of a life.
Comfort is not what keeps a body standing at 86. Work is. That is the first secret, and it is the hardest one, because it asks something of you every single day. Nobody hands you this one in a bottle, and nobody profits from telling you the truth of it, which is maybe why so few people say it out loud anymore.
You will not find it advertised on the television between the shows, because there is no product attached to it, no subscription, no monthly fee. It is just you, a shovel, and a job that needs doing before supper. I have buried 3 of my own generation who sat down the day they stopped working and never really stood back up the same way again. The body reads idleness as a message, and the message it sends back is decline. Keep the message plain. There is still work here for you to do. Secret number 2, eat what grows near you, not what gets shipped to you. My food comes from 30 feet outside my door, most of it. Tomatoes, beans, squash, greens, all pulled from dirt I turned myself, with seed I saved from last year's plants. I did not know the word organic growing up because there was no other kind back then. Now they sell it back to you at a markup, sealed in plastic, 3 weeks after it was picked somewhere far from here, sprayed with something to keep it from rotting on the long ride to your store.
Food that sits in a truck for a week is not the same food anymore, no matter what the label on the front tells you. Secret number 3 sits right beside it. Bone broth. Made slow, made often, made from the whole animal instead of just the parts folks think look nice on a plate. Esther keeps a pot going most weeks. Bones from whatever fed us that season, simmered low for a day or better until the whole house smells like something worth waiting for.
It is not a trend to us, no matter what they call it in the city now. It is just what you do with the bones instead of throwing them in the trash. Poor folks figured this out long before rich folks started selling it in little cartons for $10 a quart with a fancy name printed on the side. Waste nothing, and your table feeds you twice. That is not a secret. That is just sense, the kind that got buried under convenience. Secret number 4 is going to make some people angry, and I will say it anyway, because somebody needs to. Before you run to the pharmacy for every little ache, look first at what grew in your grandmother's garden. Garlic, ginger, apple cider vinegar, castor oil. raw honey. These are not miracle cures, and I already told you plainly, I am no doctor, and I never claimed these things fix a real illness.
But our people leaned on these plain, cheap things for 200 years before there was a drive-through pharmacy on every corner of every town. There is a whole industry built on you never learning these old remedies, because a jar of raw honey from your own bees does not make anybody rich the way a pill bottle with a patent on it does. Think about that for a moment. Nobody can patent garlic.
Nobody can trademark ginger tea, so nobody spends money telling you about it, and the silence gets mistaken for proof that it does not work. I am not telling you to throw out your medicine, and if you are sick, you go to your doctor, plain and simple. I am telling you not to forget what came before the pill bottle, and not to reach for one every single time a plain old remedy might do the same small job just as well. Secret number 5. Go to bed with the sun, and get up with it too. No screen light keeping your mind racing past 10 o'clock at night. No blue glow off some device telling your body it is still daytime when it is not. We do not run electricity through this house the way most homes do. And I will tell you plain, that has protected my sleep more than anything a doctor ever gave me in a bottle. Your body was built to rest when it turns dark, and rise when the light comes back. Every single year, more folks fight against that rhythm, staring at a screen until midnight, wondering why they cannot sleep, then wondering why they feel worn out at 50, the way I do not feel worn out at 86. Nobody is selling you darkness. Nobody profits from you turning the lights off early. That might be exactly why you have never heard this from anybody trying to sell you something. This one costs you nothing at all. It only asks that you put the light down and let the dark finish its work on you, the same way it always has. Secret number 6. Stop snacking. Plain and simple. I eat when I am hungry, and I stop when I am full. And in between those 2 points, I do not put one more bite in my mouth, just because it happens to be sitting there in front of me. 3 meals, plain and full, spaced out through a working day that actually earns them. No bag of something salty between meals to get through the afternoon slump. No sweet thing waiting on the counter to grab without thinking.
Your grandmother's kitchen was not stocked with 100 little wrappers waiting to be torn open every time boredom struck. She cooked, the family ate, and then everybody went back to work until the next real meal earned its place on the table. The whole snacking industry, and it is an industry, wants your hand in a bag every single hour of the day, because every bite sold is a nickel earned. Your body was never built for constant grazing. It was built for real hunger and real meals. And you can see the difference it makes in the folks who still eat that way. Plain, at set times, with nothing in between.
Secret number 7. Keep your people close and keep them working right alongside you, not just visiting on a holiday once a year. I have never once eaten a meal alone in my life that I can remember. Not one. Family at the table every night. Neighbors at the barn raising when a roof needs building. Church every single week, without fail. Rain or shine, hot or cold. Loneliness eats a person from the inside, slower than any disease you can name, but it is just as sure in the end. I see it when I go into town. Old folks living behind closed doors with nobody checking on them for days at a time, sometimes longer. That is not how we live out here, and it never has been. Somebody is always coming by, always needing a hand or offering one, and that keeps a person's heart working, the same way hard labor keeps the hands working. You cannot buy this secret in a store, and maybe that is exactly why so few people talk about it on the television or in the magazines. There is no product to sell you for having people around who genuinely love you. The modern world sells connection through a little screen, a message, a photograph you scroll past in half a second and calls that friendship. It is not the same thing, and every old person I have ever known who tried to live that way faded faster than the ones who still had hands to shake and faces to sit across from at supper. A phone call is not a visit. A message is not a meal shared. If you want to add years to your life, add people to your days. Real ones, close enough to notice if you do not answer the door. Secret number 8. Walk and walk often,
And do not let a car replace your own 2 legs for every short trip you could just as easily make on foot. I still walk to the neighbor's place instead of hitching up a horse for a 5-minute ride down the road. Secret number 9 rides right alongside it, and it might be the one people need most and want least. Slow down and stop wearing a rushed, packed, frantic life like it is something to be proud of.
Modern folks wear their busy schedule like a badge of honor, rushing from one thing to the next thing, never still, never quiet, never just sitting on a porch watching the evening come in. I do not rush. My day has a shape to it, the same shape most days. Morning chores, midday work, evening rest, and there is real peace built into that shape. Stress is a thief, plain and simple, and it steals years off a life the same way a bad habit does, only quieter. So most folks never see it coming until a doctor sits them down and tells them why their heart is tired at 55.
Secret number 10, and the last one I will give you tonight. Have a reason to get up in the morning that has nothing to do with money at all. Faith, family, the animals that need feeding, whether you feel like it or not. The garden that needs tending in every season, not just the easy ones. I am 86 years old, and I still have work only I can do on this farm. Work that matters. And that carries a person further than any pill in any bottle ever could.
Idle hands and an idle mind wear a person down faster than hard labor ever managed to. I have watched it happen to folks who retired with nothing left to do and nowhere left to be needed, and it takes them faster than the work ever would have. Purpose is the thread running through every other secret I gave you tonight. Without it, none of the rest hold together the way they are supposed to.
10 secrets, plain and simple. The way I promised you at the start. None of them cost much. None of them came out of a laboratory or a boardroom somewhere far from here. They came from a life lived close to the ground, close to family, and close to the old ways that worked long before anybody needed a doctor to explain why they worked. I am not telling you to throw out modern medicine, and I already told you plainly, these 10 habits will not add a single year to your life on their own, and anybody who tells you different is selling you something.
What I am telling you is this. These are the plain, quiet choices that carried me here. Strong, steady, and still working at 86 years old. Nobody sold me these secrets, and I am not selling them to you either. I am simply passing them along, the same way they were passed to me, hand to hand, the only way anything true has ever really traveled. If even one of these 10 secrets found a place in your own life tonight, tell me which one down in the comments, and I will see you back here on the farm again next time.